We turn now to an exclusive new report by The Intercept. Next time you're at an airport, you may not want to gaze down at your feet. But also be careful not to stare at anyone with your eyes wide open. That's because both of these behaviors are listed on a suspicious signs checklist used by the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA. The Intercept obtained the confidential document from a source concerned about the quality of the program. The document shows how the TSA identifies potential terrorists based on behaviors that it thinks indicate stress or deception, including fidgeting, whistling, throat clearing. The checklist is part of the TSA's controversial program known as the Screening of Passengers by Observation Techniques, or SPOT program. It employs specially trained officers known as behavior detection officers to watch and interact with passengers going through screening. For more, we're joined by Cora Currier, staff reporter for The Intercept. Her new article is co-written with Jana Winter. It's called Exclusive: TSA's Secret Behavior Checklist to Spot Terrorists. Cora, welcome to Democracy Now! So explain what this list actually, what the behaviors are that the TSA are watching out for.
So we obtained a 92-point checklist that has it's divided into sort of a section on initial observations, which is used by the officers who are sort of looking at passengers approaching the screening area, and then a second category of signs of deception, which is used when they sort of pull someone aside for further screening, and finally, might even use to refer them to law enforcement. The behaviors on this list range from the mind-numbingly obvious, things that you think that the TSA might have some sort of mustachio-twirling cartoon villain in mind, whistling when you approach the security screening area, rubbing or wringing of hands, appears to be in disguise was my personal favorite. And then other of them are so broad as to apply to almost anybody you could imagine, yawning, as you mentioned.
And why yawning?
We don't know. This is supposed to be one of exaggerated yawning is one of the characteristics that they've decided could be a sign of deception. Throat clearing, strong body odor was one of them, inappropriate dress for the location. So they're just face flushed, nervous, running late for a flight. These are things that could apply. Any one of us could look like at any given time we're in an airport.
Now, what is the ACLU and the New York Civil Liberties Union suing over?
So they asked last fall for a bunch of documents specifically related to this program through a Freedom of Information Act request. My understanding is the TSA sort of stonewalled on it, so they're suing to get those documents released. They've asked for the science behind this program, the training lists, things like this checklist, basically, and also any information about how this program has handles the potential for racial profiling or incidents of racial profiling, because that's really one of the main concerns about it, is that it's just a smokescreen for pulling over people of certain ethnicities or minorities.
The Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, has defended its conduct, saying it's taking a, quote, common sense approach. In a statement to The Intercept, the TSA said, quote, no single behavior alone will cause a traveler to be referred to additional screening or result in a call to a law enforcement officer. The TSA also denied claims of racial profiling, saying, quote, officers are trained and audited to ensure referrals for additional screening are based only on observable behaviors and not race or ethnicity. Is there a scientific basis for the list of behaviors they're screening for?
So there's a sort of small minority of researchers who believe that you can use these sort of they call them sort of microfacial indicators or body language indicators to decide if somebody's being deceptive or sort of has a plot, something up their sleeve. But the Government Accountability Office did a sort of meta review of scientific literature specifically related to this program, and found that humans were the consensus seems to be that humans are really bad at determining just by these kind of behavioral indicators whether someone's lying. They did not find that there was science to back up that you could use these detectors to determine whether someone was being deceptive or carrying something out.
How much has the TSA spent on this program?
At least $1 billion to date. In 2013, when the GAO put out the report, it was upwards of $900 million, and it's been going since 2007.